Here we go. As soon as this ad get out the damn way.
Use motion already to improve your videos fast. For example, you can create a professional opener just like.
Let's talk about it.
We are now starting to see marijuana being mixed with fentanyl in the St. Louis area, and cases of teenagers using the dangerous combo are popping up. I spoke with a WashU doctor who is seeing this firsthand. Now that recreational marijuana for those 21 years and older is legal in Missouri, a new problem is coming to light. Marijuana laced with fentanyl. Dr. Michael Wenzinger, a staff psychiatrist at Washington University and a medical doctor, doesn't want to alarm people about this, but says parents need to have it on their radar.
In my clinical practice and among some of my peers, we're seeing more kids report.
Hold up. Rewind that back. What did this bitch say? Did y'all hear what this bitch just say? Did she just say what I thought she said? They don't want to alarm people?
Dr. Michael Wenzinger, a staff psychiatrist at Washington University and a medical doctor, doesn't want to alarm people about this, but says parents need to have it on their radar.
They don't want to alarm people by it. See this, and this is another reason too for y'all TIs, because I told you I had stopped a while back, and then I started back up again, right? But then now I just recently stopped again. You see what I'm saying? So I had spoke to a bot one time. Don't hold your horses. I'm gonna let the video play. But I spoken to a bot one time when I was playing basketball at the courts, and I asked the bull, did he have any marijuana? He said he didn't have nothing on him. So we were just, talking. The bull's a bot, right? So we was talking, and I said, yo, is it true that these cats be spraying this stuff with like roach spray and stuff? He said, I know cats that put fentanyl on it. And I said, word? Because back in the day, back in the 90s, I knew people that was spraying roach spray on the marijuana, trying to get people a different high so that way you could come back, and get more. Basically, they're trying to turn you to a crackhead. So that way they can make more money off you. So this is a sinister game, dog. So I advise everybody, and not just TIs, everybody, leave the weed alone. Unless you grow it yourself.
In my clinical practice and among some of my peers, we're seeing more kids reporting they thought they were just smoking marijuana when drug screens showed fentanyl. And they would have toxicological or medical side effects consistent with that.
Dr. Wenzinger tells me the marijuana-fentanyl mixture is very recent, and it will be interesting to see what happens as the year goes on. Overall, marijuana use among teens is up.
When it comes to teenage use of any substance, their use tends to go up when public perception of risk goes down. So it's not a surprise that we're seeing way more marijuana use.
The latest data shows 30% of 12th graders are or have used marijuana. Doctors say the general feeling is that since it's sold in dispensaries, it's safe to consume.
This is sort of turning into an unintentional experiment of how does this high potency marijuana affect young people?
The pot sold today is much stronger than many teen parents might expect.
The marijuana that they might be used to from their childhood is not the kind of marijuana we're dealing with now. We're dealing with almost a whole different ballgame of potency. Dr.
Wenzinger says marijuana use is linked to more depression and anxiety, especially with a family history of psychosis. It worsens psychiatric conditions, impacts IQ, and is considered a gateway drug. So how do parents of teenagers navigate this new normal of legalizing?
Well, all that gateway drug is bull crap. How can it be a gateway drug when you're putting fentanyl on it? It's not marijuana by itself ain't no gateway drug. Marijuana itself is cool. But if you lacing it with something, man, you just made it become a gateway drug. A gateway to fucking hell.
A whole different ballgame of potency.
Dr. Wenzinger says marijuana use is linked to more depression and anxiety, especially with a family history of psychosis. It worsens psychiatric conditions, impacts IQ, and is considered a gateway drug. So how do parents of teenagers navigate this new normal of legalized marijuana?
Come at them curious. I really want to know what you like about it. And that opens up the conversation at the start and wanting to relate to them. They'll naturally kind of bridge that into a discussion but I also don't like this about it. And
Authorities in Illinois, Alabama, Louisiana, and New York all say they have seen cases in their states where marijuana has been laced with fentanyl. So we'll have to see how this evolves over the next year, but we have had some cases in St. Louis.
And certainly makes it a lot more dangerous.
Absolutely, and kids don't realize that's in there.
So there you have it, y'all. Let's go on and find something else. Hold on.
Michigan health experts are warning people about marijuana laced with fentanyl after several suspected cases in our state this year. Fentanyl is a known opioid that can cause death. Our Matt Whitkos has been in this story all day. He joins us.
And look, y'all, this video is 2 years old. And look, it only has 31K. Ain't that some shit? And before I made this video, I was looking up somebody's video, right? And you know how when you look up somebody else's video, somebody else's video pops up. So it was a video of some white guy. I didn't click it, but the thumbnail popped up like that. It says fentanyl laced weed. You know what I'm saying? But it popped up, right? And the video was only a couple months old or whatever. But it was a guy with his face on the thumbnail. In the video, the title said, I'm going to the store to get some milk. And it was like a short. It was like a 30, 40-second video. But I didn't click it. You know what I'm saying? No need to be clicking it, right? But it said, I'm going to the store to get some milk. And I looked at the views, and it had 74K. 74,000 people wanted to watch this dude go to the store and get some milk. But at the same time right here, you got 31K views that this important information, this is extremely important. How come this is not being broadcasted like the whole vid25 or that alien bullshit, you know what I'm saying, that's running rapid on everybody's channels? Nobody's talking about this. But everybody got something rolled up, though. 2 years ago, only 31K. And the other dude got a video talking about he going to the store to go get some milk. And that is like less than a year. And it got 74K. You see how dumb this world is? How many views this video, when I drop this, how many views this going to get? Probably 300-400, if that.
It's now live in the newsroom. And Matt, you talked with the Michigan...
Call Congress, gang stalking numbers. Call Congress.
Poison and Drug Information Center about this alert. What do they tell you?
Well, they say if you buy marijuana, make sure it's from a licensed and reputable vendor.
No, that's bullshit. You can't even trust that. It's not even just the street vendors you got to worry about. You got to worry about the real vendors now. Your best bet is to leave it alone, grow your own shit if you're going to do it. That's your best bet. Don't trust nobody. Okay? Don't trust nobody, because you don't know what the hell these vendors are doing. Because these people are all linked up with the government anyway. They're all linked up with the federal, right? And then the federal, you know what I'm saying? The federal, state, whatever. They all linked up, so ain't no telling. You got to understand, whenever the beast step on something, whenever the beast put their foot in something, it's no longer original no more. It's been stepped on. Just like a pure white china that been stepped on with some kilo, with some baking soda or something. It's not pure no more. Leave it alone. Cause I've noticed before in the past that, you know, when I was puffing on the trees, I would have a tendency of getting a sore throat. So I knew something was wrong. I was like, man, my spirit was just telling me, though, you're gonna have to just leave this shit alone, dog. Just leave this shit alone.
And control officials tell me they started seeing an alarming rate that was going on in Connecticut about people overdosing, but claimed they have only smoked marijuana.
We're finding it with increased frequency in the illicit drug supply like heroin. More and more fentanyl is also being added to other illicit drugs like cocaine.
Michigan Poison and Drug Information Center Medical Director Andrew King says in many cases this pandemic...
Now before, back in the day, people was putting crack. They would lace up the weed, you know what I'm saying, with powder or something. I never did none of that. One thing I used to do was just straight marijuana. At least that's what you thought it was. And I may drink a little bit of liquor or whatever. But I stopped doing all that shit when they was giving me, they used to induce me with these panic attacks. So that's why I cut that shit out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mixed the alcohol with the weed no more ever since I've been a target individual, and they fucking with my neurological system. So I had to cut all that out. You see what I'm saying? Because they can and will induce a panic attack. Because when you're high, you're more open. You're opening up portals, so they can tap in you, and they can create anxiety attacks or even increase V2K or whatever the hell they want to do.
Is pushing people to seek out illegal drugs as a way to cope with stress.
No, opioids really are driving the increase in drug overdose deaths across the United States.
It's the most recent reports out of Connecticut that's making him want to warn Michiganders, a new combination of marijuana and fentanyl.
I don't think I've ever specifically thought about that being placed in there, but you know, it does make sense because it just continues to be put in many other things.
According to the New England State Health Department, from July to October, there were 39 overdose cases. All of those patients deny using opioids, but did say they smoked marijuana. The Connecticut Health Department says evidence confirms one sample did show fentanyl.
And sometimes people actually are looking for fentanyl because of its potency.
Dang.
Like Michigan, Connecticut.
They looking for I want that tree right there. This got the fentanyl. I want the fentanyl. I want the fentanyl lace cannabis.
It does allow people over the age of 21 to consume marijuana.
Those dispensaries is that they really pay attention to those, and I don't think that they would allow any illicit drugs to be placed in those supplies.
According to the U.S. Drug
this world is fucked up.
Enforcement Administration, just 2 milligrams of the fentanyl can be lethal depending on the person's size, tolerance, and past usage. When using pot, the Michigan Poison and Drug Information Center says to keep an eye out for symptoms related to an opioid overdose, such as confusion, dizziness, pinpoint pupils, vomiting, respiratory depression or arrest, and low blood pressure and heart rate.
You hear that, y'all?
Restlessness, symptoms related to an opioid.
Respiratory depression or arrest. That kind of sound like, because they will fuck with your respiratory with it. This right here sounds like the panic attack. You know what I'm saying? The bots is over here. These are the bots right here. They're all confused. They're dizzy. And they're some fucking vomiting shit turds.
Overdose such as confusion, dizziness, pinpoint pupils, vomiting, respiratory depression or arrest, and low blood pressure and heart rate. King says there haven't been any confirmed lab reports of marijuana having fentanyl, but there are currently at least 8 suspected cases. None of those were deadly. Again, if you were to buy marijuana, then do it from a licensed, reputable business, like one of the many local dispensaries we have in our state. They say if you do experience symptoms that may be related to fentanyl, to call 911. In the newsroom, I'm Matt Witkos, Fox 17 News.
Don't do it, y'all. Let's click another one. Y'all want to see another? Let's see what this guy talking about.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching, where we help people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content. In today's video, we're going to do a review of fentanyl-laced carts or marijuana laced with fentanyl, and we're going to take a closer look at this. So if you smoke carts, especially black market ones...
Look at that. 2 years ago, 28K. How come that don't have 1 million? You got people getting millions of views in 2 days off a goddamn TikTok dancing video, shaking your dumb ass.
I think this is worth paying attention to.
2 million strong.
So a simple Google search.
But y'all motherfuckers still got gang stalking numbers. You still got hope in Congress, right?
If you type
Obama gonna come and save your ass, your black ass.
Laced marijuana,
maybe Jesus.
Fentanyl laced marijuana is going to bring up a series of articles. Now, a lot of the articles that you're going to see are going to be similar to this, where you're looking at some type of police report where there's someone who was...
These motherfuckers are trying to kill you on every fucking angle and aspect. Everywhere you turn is death. Okay? It is fucking death on everywhere you turn. You can't breathe. If you all the toxins and chemtrails and carbon monoxide from the cars. You know what I'm saying? If you're in New York City or these big ass cities, it's even worse. Your food is jacked up. Now everybody want to talk about stop drinking plastic bottled water. Then what the fuck else you gonna do? There's nothing else you can do. What, you gonna go back to tap? You can't go back to tap water. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing you can do but to do your best. That's it. It ain't nothing you can do. Canned goods ain't good for you because it's been soaked and saturated with the aluminum. Everywhere you turn, man. How come the preachers ain't talking about this? And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is information this is important information that need to be broadcasted out. But your 501c3 status, TD Jake motherfuckers, they don't talk about this. They want to continue to give you that false ass hope that everything's going to be all right. But I bash on fucking hope. I'm letting you know that everything is not going to be all right. I'm the complete opposite.
It's found related to an overdose. Here you have one of the people died. They were given Narcan, and it suggests that the marijuana was mixed with opioids. That's what officials are reporting. Now, let's kind of go through this a little bit. So,
they are keeping this quiet. This is another depopulation scheme, y'all. Depopulation program, depopulation, the Georgia Guidestones, cutting the numbers down to 500 million, right? Ain't that what they say? You gotta look. What did the Bible tells you? Be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. So if you're not sober, now you gotta understand now, sober don't just necessarily mean like just not messing with alcohol. It could mean anything, high in general. Marijuana, pills, perks, Xannies, whatever the hell these people are taking out here. Being high is being high. If you're high off of syrup, whatever, how the hell can you be vigilant? How the hell can you spot your adversary seeking your dumb ass like a roaring lion? You're not going to be able to do that. That's the reason why Paul told you to be sober and vigilant. You must be aware at all times because you have an adversary that's out to get you. And this adversary is not somebody that's dressed up in a red suit with a pitchfork named Satan. Okay? This adversary is your motherfucking government and these galactical beings that people claim that they seeing now in Miami.
I mean, first of all, what's fentanyl? Fentanyl is an opioid, and people would say, well, why would anyone mix fentanyl with anything? Well, fentanyl is absurdly cheap, okay? And it's very, very, very accessible. And it's also highly addicting. So from a dealer's standpoint, to a small extent, especially if you're peddling a bunch of black market stuff just all over the states, yeah, fentanyl could, in theory, make sense. Now, this is one article like that. Here's another article where they talk about actually CBD products being laced with fentanyl.
What?
They talk about actually CBD.
Wow. Look at that, y'all. And I used to try I tried the CBD too years ago. I left it alone because it is pointless, really. You know what I'm saying? But CBD is for arthritis. They say you could try the CBD. You know what I'm saying? It's good for. I'm talking about the CBD flower. You could buy that at the stores. You could buy the CBD store. You could buy the CBD at the tobacco stores. And look at that. Vapors, beware. CBD laced with fentanyl is on the rise. Why this is not on the news, people? You know what I'm saying? And you just seen it on Fox News, but this is a news clip from YouTube. It's not being broadcasted worldwide because they don't want you to know this stuff. But you need to tune your ass to Gang Stalk Assimilation, hit the motherfucking like button, stop being a clown, and learn something today. Can I get a no there?
Products being laced with fentanyl. And this one's interesting because I've had 2 or 3 clients now call my offices. One of them got like a CBD product out of a vending machine. Another one bought an oil tincture offline, and they got really, really sick. I don't know what they got sick with, but they got really, violently ill off of these products. Now, when we look at this here, they're talking about a story in which this...
I'm going to show y'all what to do. This is how you do it. See my little arrow right here? See this? This is what you do. You scroll down and you click that right there. That's all you got to do, you punk motherfuckers.
This person slipped into a coma. They went to a hospital. They were hooked up to breathing machines. They had acute respiratory failure. Damn. And it turned out that the CBD they were vaping was laced with fentanyl. Now, the Associated Press did an investigation into this story, and it's kind of crazy here. What they found was that almost 40% of these CBD cartridges contains synthetic marijuana or spice K2, whatever you want to call it. So
there you go. That spice K2. People don't talk about that no more. That shit was a major killer.
40% contains synthetic marijuana. That's crazy. That stuff is terrifying. I've talked to people who have done other substances, and a lot of them say synthetic marijuana was one of the worst experiences they ever had. Like, horrible experience.
Now I'm glad I didn't have no bad experience. I tried the K2 years ago. This was probably like around, I think, 2009. It was years ago. I tried the K2. You know what I'm saying? And at that time I didn't know, really what it was. I bought it at the store. It looked just like, the cannabis. So I tried it, and the reason why I didn't mess with it no more because nothing happened. I didn't get high off of it. So I left that shit alone. And then right after I left it alone, that's when I started hearing a lot of reports about people was getting jacked up, going crazy off the K2. So I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I looked in the mirror. I was like, man, the God's been with DB. You know what I'm saying? I've always been protected. I'm just to let y'all know, DB always been protected.
They found here, too, that it was in Mississippi specifically that they were finding fentanyl in some of the products. So, okay, this is another story where we talk about fentanyl. Here we have another story. This was in April 4/22/21 in upstate New York, according to multiple news outlets. According to this county sheriff's office, they confiscated marijuana in a Walmart parking lot that tested positive for fentanyl. Now, here's the deal. So, I don't know how much. Let's just take another look at a story. Oh, okay, we'll go into this one shortly. So, I don't know how true all of that actually is. And this article here kind of breaks that down a little bit, saying, listen, we got to get rid of this myth that fentanyl is something that's being used to lace marijuana with. This story breaks it down and says more likely what's happening in some of these cases is the person who's preparing the marijuana also sells fentanyl and cocaine and other drugs, and maybe in the production and packaging of these products, they were all mixed together on the same table or on the same surface. And remember, you only need a little tiny bit of fentanyl for it to be amazing.
They put it on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you buy food and stuff, and they say on the back of the package, this product was processed in a facility that that contains shellfish and nuts and milk and dairy and stuff like that. They put that on the package just to let you know if you have any allergies, to those that type of food product. You know what I'm saying? But with this right here, man, this is a conspiracy right here. This is a major fucking conspiracy. They doing this shit on purpose.
Major problem. So they're saying, listen, no one would really be doing this, and if anything, if people are lacing heroin or opioids or fentanyl with marijuana, this is a white horse. This is something that you're not going to see. This is something that makes no sense, something that we're not going to see. They said, if anything, yes, synthetic marijuana is much more likely than it being fentanyl. And, it's interesting, too, because when you look into this, they said, if anything, yes, synthetic marijuana is much more likely than it being fentanyl. And, it's interesting, too, because when you look into this, a lot of these police reports that you're seeing that I showed you were later debunked. They were later demystified. So they would come out back from a lab and say, oh, yeah, you know what? We thought it was fentanyl, but it actually wasn't. Now, the general public doesn't get to see that side of the story. No, you only get to see the headline that says fentanyl killed someone. It was found in marijuana. So, okay, here's what I think. And I think this is more important, and this is what I think you should be paying more attention to. If you're buying black market carts, so unless you're walking into a medical dispensary and purchasing it, assume it's black market, okay? Right. If you're here in New York and you're here in these other places where you don't have it legally, recreationally, assume it's garbage. What I think you should be more concerned about is the pesticide content in it, right? The vitamin E acetate and the other things that they use to cut these products with. And even more so, I think you should be concerned with the amount of THC that you're consuming, because, guys, we're seeing really bad things happening to people off of just pure THC, high concentration THC. So this article here, I brought this up before in the past. Here's an article where they're talking about bootleg marijuana carts, and, you know, here's a young gentleman. Here's an article where they're talking about...
with hydrogen cyanide. Wow.
Bootleg marijuana carts. And, you know, here's a young gentleman who couldn't breathe. He was hooked up to vents. This is when all the people died from vaping, which really just turned out to be the...
And this is not on mainstream news being broadcast right now? But yet still they're going to sit here and shut the world down when the so-called COVID-25 popped off. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Black market THC cartridges predominantly...
I told you, man, you always got to pay attention to what they broadcast and shove down your throat. If they shove it down your throat, it's a psyops. If they're hiding under the table, it's the real deal. It's the real deal, Holyfield. I'm gonna say it again. If they're shoving it down your throat, it's a psyops. If they're hiding it under the table, it's the real deal. They don't want you to know. They want you to get caught up in it.
From the vitamin E acetate. But this group did testing on 10 products, some medical grade, some black market. And you can see here the medical grade ones all came back great. No pesticides, no vitamin E acetate, and it had the amount of THC it claimed to have, which again, I'm going to argue to you guys can still be dangerous. We have a lot of people call our offices who are absolutely crippled right now by THC addiction. Dang. And then we have the black market products. You can see here all of the pesticides that were found in these products, all of the vitamin E acetate that was found, barely any THC, and this was in dank vapes. I smoked dank vapes. These things, they slapped, if I'm going to use terminology and be relatable here. What was getting me high? If I was only consuming 20-something percent THC, what was getting me so screwed up?
Right.
And then that leads into my next concern for you guys.
But the average person won't even care. They just want to get high. You don't even care about what's getting you high. You know, that's why a lot of people smoke those papers too, those blunt papers and with all the tobacco in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm like, you getting high off the paper. Not even the substance.
Consume this stuff. We talk a lot about cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome and things like that. But really, I think one of the arguments or one of the things we need to start looking at is, are you experiencing long-term pesticide exposure? And is that long-term pesticide exposure creating some serious health consequences for people? I believe it is. So right here we have, this was from OSHA, and this is just symptoms that you might see if you've experienced...
Hey, gang stalking numbers. You better get on the phone right now and call Congress, goddammit.
Alcohol or pesticide poisoning, vomiting, excessive salivation, coughing, that constricted feeling in the throat and the chest, abdominal cramp.
Because we in a load of shit.
Blurred. It's just symptoms that you might see if you've experienced alcohol or pesticide poisoning, vomiting, excessive salivation, coughing, that constricted feeling in the throat and the chest, abdominal cramps. Blurred vision is huge, guys. I get this all the time from people with pesticide poisoning. Blurred vision is huge. Rapid pulse, sweating, profound weakness, trembling, muscular incoordination, mental confusion.
Mental confusion.
Could this be the psychosis that we're seeing? Could this be the cannabinoid hyperemesis syndromes that we're seeing? Nausea, diarrhea, weakness, fatigue, restlessness, irritation of the skin, headaches, messed up pupils, loss of reflexes, the uncontrollable muscle twitching. Absolutely something I was experiencing towards the end.
This is crazy.
I don't know if it was from the energy.
I'm gonna stop it right here because I'm getting up to 30-minute mark. Let me know. I'm not done with this topic. I'm coming back with some more. Let me know. Comment down below if you want me to go live on this motherfucking topic right here. This right here is gonna be a premiere. Let me know next time. I'm gonna go live on this topic. All right. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I showed you how to do it. I'm going to show you again for the slow motherfuckers in the back. Take the arrow. See the arrow right here? See it right there? Scroll it on down. Right there. And you click that button, but you only click it once. That's it. If you click it twice, it ain't going to work. You see what I'm saying? Click it once. All right? All right? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. DB Gang Stalker Simulation, the motherfucking best channel on motherfucking YouTube. Gang Stalker numbers, get your ass on that phone. Call Congress up, goddammit. Holla back.